Oh, where did I switch? There we go. There we go. Jose, how you doing, man? Thank you for sharing the live. Appreciate it. Let's see. Let's check the mic check. Dun, 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 dun. You do any trades today, Jose? Man, today was some day. Some day to trade. Crazy. No trades. But did you watch the market though? Did you see those crazy moves that happened today? Man, so interesting. Let's see. Make sure we get trading view here. Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. Market was pretty optimist in the morning, and then things kind of took a dump towards the end of the trading day. That was crazy. Okay, I'm just gonna wait a couple more minutes, have a few more people join the live, and then we'll go ahead and get started. We'll get to talk about what happened. Brish, good evening. Thank you for the donut. I appreciate it. Appreciate that, and appreciate the taps as well. So thank you very much, Brish. Thank you very much. Thank you for all the gifts, the GGs, the thunders. I hope I deserve um, those gifts with all the information that I shared with you. So appreciate that beforehand. Okay, so we'll get started in just a couple minutes. Just waiting a couple more people to join the live. Some of the same people that are always here in the afternoon or in the evening. I like to start with them because they've been with me since day one. So just waiting a couple more minutes, then we'll go ahead and get started. So, Brish, do you do swing trades? Are you trying to get into the market? What's your where are you standing? Let me put this other picture. That I think that's a little bit more of an interesting picture. Let's see, go here and how about that? I like that. Mm-mm-mm. Let's see where we're standing on all these stocks. Dum, dum, dum. Then Lidu, oh Lidu. Appreciate the follow. Thank you for the follow. Thank you very much. I hope you like the content that I share during these lives. I'm here live Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. So just for an hour, we have a little bit of a chat. What happened in the market during the day? What were the news? What happened and what to expect for the next day. So we touch on those two things, and then we analyze some stocks if we have time, and I give you my insights on what I think what I think about some of the stocks that some people want to trade. I'm a very simple trader. I don't I don't trade stocks that have a lot of risk. I'm more conservative, so I traded stocks that I know will give me a good return. And I've learned from people that do this for a living. They depend on the market. I don't depend from the market. I have my job, but they do. So they trade very carefully. Make sure that they get profits. They don't risk their money because they and their family depend on that money. So I think it's a great example to kind of follow them because they don't risk more than they should. And I think a lot of the people that are getting into this, that's how they are supposed to trade, right? Not risking too much, making consistent profits, and that way, they can be profitable in this business, because this stock market is it could be very cruel to some people, and it could make you lose a lot of money, discourage a lot of people, and those, a lot of those people never come back to the stock market. But if you trade carefully and you pick your right stocks and make profits, maybe not huge profits, you're not gonna become rich from one day to another. But if you learn to trade carefully, you tend to be profitable and like this business. And when I say profitable, talking about a couple $100, maybe every day, maybe every week, but make it consistent. Every week you're getting a couple $100, and then at the end of the month, that's your car payment, right? Or that's your groceries for a couple weeks. That's money that you didn't have before, okay? And then you learn to do it the right way, the slow but steady way, and that becomes really good for you because now you learn to manage your risk. So I learned from those guys that trade that way. That's why I trade on the more conservative side. I don't pick stocks that are penny stocks. I don't pick stocks that have pump and dumps. I don't do anything like that that's gonna put my money at risk, because I already did it when I first started. I lost a lot of money. I was this close to getting out of the market and not do this because of all those losses, and I thought the market was playing against me. But it's just because I wasn't educated on picking the right stocks, doing things the right way. So I hope you guys, if you're starting, Brish, you're still learning, you're a newbie. I hope that what I share here, you can use it in the future, even if you watch somebody else trade and you become a trader in the future. I hope some of the stuff that I share with you, you can use it, okay, and not lose money in the market. That's my whole point. That's why I'm here. I just want to communicate and share with people what I went through and how I trade because of those experiences, which I'm glad they happened to me. Otherwise, I probably would have, continued to trade without much knowledge, and I probably would have lost more than I did. So, Apollo, thank you for the roses, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate your gifts. Very much appreciated. Brish, no problem. CH11, thank you for the follow, man. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and check this out. Okay, we're getting a couple more people here in the live. Just gonna wait one more minute, and then we'll go ahead and get started. So Brish, if you are barely getting started into this business, I don't know what your goal is. I don't know if you're trying to do long-term investing, because that's a whole separate thing. For that, you don't even need experience. You just need to open an account, set up a couple of stocks, especially ETFs, which are stocks that give you a good return every year on average, and then just keep putting money every month. Contributing to that account every month or every week, whenever you can, and then in 10 years, 20 years, that account is gonna be in the millions. Okay, there's no doubt about that. There's just no way to miss on that. But again, you gotta make consistent contributions to that account, which is a long-term account. I don't know if you already have that plan, or you just want to get into trading. Okay, trading has a little bit more risk. The reward is bigger, but the risk is bigger as well. So I don't know where you are on that, but I hope what I share again can be of help. Laidu, now getting into this for starting budget 200. Where should I start? Laidu, it depends, man. Do you want to same thing I told Brish? Are you planning to do this long term? In my opinion, okay, everyone should have two separate portfolios if you're trying to do this and turn it into a business. But you got to get educated, right? If you want to do the second one. The first one is a long term. The long term investing, because that's what it is investing, because you're not trading, you're not selling the stocks, you're just buying them and putting them into this long term account, and then collect in 10 years, 15 and 20 years, because those accounts will grow. There's no doubt about that. Okay, it's proven. Especially if you buy stocks like the SPY, the S&P 500, which I can show you right now. See. Okay, so stocks like this, the S&P 500, which tracks the 500 best companies in the United States, those this company pays on average every year about 10%, which means that if you put in $1,000 during the year, you get about $100 every year. If you put 10,000, you'll get 1,000, and you get my drift. So the more you put in, the better and the bigger the return. But with that, you cannot take the money out, because if you take it out, I mean, you're kind of defeating the purpose of doing this long term. The more money you put in, the more money it's gonna make for you. And I can show you something really quick before we get started with today's topic. So let's look at this. Okay. And this is the reason why I got really excited when I first started into this. This is the reason why I started. Okay. Because at first I was just planning to do this long term. I wasn't planning to get into trading because I thought it was too much risk, and I didn't get into trading at first. I wanted to do it just long term. So when I discovered this type of formula, or I did this math, I was like, well, this makes sense. Like, if I want to retire in 10 years and 15 years, this makes total sense, right? So so let's say that you are starting a long-term investment. Okay, you open a broker's account with either Fidelity or Charles Schwab or Robinhood, whatever you choose. Okay, it doesn't matter which one, they all do this kind of the same thing. So let's say you start with, I don't know, 10K that you were able to save in a couple years. No, I'm just throwing out a number. You could start with 1,000, doesn't matter, but I'm gonna start with 10K. Okay, so you start with 10K that year. You put it into this long-term account, and you buy stocks like the one I showed you, the S&P 500, which I'm going to show you in a second how that stock has grown over the years. But let's say you start with those 10,000. Okay, following me? Yeah, tell me if you're following along. So you start with those 10. Let's say you got 20 years. If let's say you're 30 now, you want to retire by the time you're 50. So you're going to invest for 20 years. I know it sounds like a long time, but it will pay off. Okay. The return rate of the S&P 500 is about 10% on average. It could be more, it could be less, but that's why I say average. Last couple years, the S&P 500 paid about 25%. So, I mean, you could see how this is on average. 10% is the conservative return, every year. Now, let's say that every month, okay, every month you're able to contribute a couple thousand, 2,000 every month to this account. So you started with 10, you're gonna invest for 20 years, you get 10% interest rate or compound interest on this account, which means that every year, let me turn this off. Every year you're going to get 10% on your money, and then you invest for the 20 years. So let's see, at the end of the year number 20, this is how much you will have in your account: 1.5 million in 20 years. Does that make sense? You following me? Okay, and this is for both of you guys, for Laidu and Brish, because I know Laidu, you said you want to start into this, you have a budget of 200, and you want to know where to start. If you want to start on this and do it long term, this is where what your account will look like. Now, if you're more aggressive, obviously you're gonna have more money in less time. If you are less aggressive, and let's say you start with just 1,000, okay, because that's all the money you have, you're still gonna invest for 20 years, 10% interest annually, and instead of 1,000, you can only give 1,000 every month. Let's see where your account will be. So at the end of the year number 20, you're still gonna have $724,000. Okay, isn't that good? Isn't that nice? And then every year in that account, okay, in that brokerage account, your $724,000 will be making you $65,000 every year if you don't put any dollar after that. Okay, so if you stop making contributions to your long-term account, which now has 724,000, Every year that account is gonna make you 65,000 without you touching anything. You don't have to put in more money. You don't have to do anything. This account will just give you that money. Okay, isn't that nice? Okay, that is the power of compound interest. Okay, giving you that 10% every year. Now, if you look at the chart that I showed you earlier, this is the S&P 500. You could see that. Okay, if I go, let's say 20 years ago. 20 years ago was what? 2005. Okay, so we go back to 2005. Let's see, can I go that far out? Yeah. So 2005, it was around, let me mark it right there. It was around right here. Okay, this was 2005. You could see in 2005, this stock, the stock that I'm telling you about, the S&P 500, was about $140. Okay, you could see the price on the right here. It was $140. So now, oops, if you would have started 20 years ago, okay, this is where you would be right now. Each one of your stock will be worth $593. Not bad, huh? So in 20 years, who knows where this is going to be? The only thing for sure is that it will be higher than that, because you could see how this stock, it drops, like all the stocks, they drop. But if you are invested in the long term, you got nothing to worry about. Nothing. Because, over the years, it drops, it recovers. It drops, it recovers. You could see those drops, those lines here. It drops, it recovers. It drops, it recovers. With the tariffs that Trump announced a couple months ago, it dropped, now it recovered. Does that make sense? Okay. Let me know. Let me know if it makes sense. Put it in the comments. But there's just no way to lose with the S&P 500 for the long term. Okay, you just got to keep that mentality that you're gonna have to keep your money in there for good 10, 20 years. Again, if you're more aggressive, you put in more money, you're gonna get more money at the end of your retirement. Whenever you want to retire. So I see this as a good motivation, at least for me. When I get my paycheck every month, I say, you know what? I don't need this money. This money I can put it into the S&P 500. Then this amount I can put it into my checking account for an emergency, and then the rest I can spend on groceries and whatever else, a trip to go out, things like that. But that way I manage my money, and I know that this money I'm not touching, and it's just in that account. That helps me see the light at the end of the tunnel, because I don't want to retire where I work. I'm a teacher. I don't want to retire there as a teacher, being 65 years old and retiring at that age. I'm planning to retire in 10 years. In 10 years, I'm done, because, I will have enough money in my account that will continue to make me more money. So do it, guys. Do it. That is one thing that usually I'm not a financial advisor, but that is one thing that everyone recommends. Everyone recommends. Everyone that I've talked to, and like I said, when I first started in this business, trading, that's what got me started, okay, to do this long term. Then after that, I started to research more, to read a lot of books, to take some courses, some workshops, and then I became part of a community. I started studying, for months, and eventually I started trading. And then that's when I realized, okay, there's money in trading too. It's more risky, but there's a lot of money that you can make in the meantime, while you still do the long term. Okay, the long term you don't touch, you just put money into it. But the trading, you sell some stocks, you get some profits, and again, a little bit more risky, but rewarding as well. See, Empower Engine. How about you start at 60,000 and 15 years? Oof, even better, man. Even better. Let's see. If you plug in those numbers, 60K, 15 years, and the same money, Empower. Let's see. We start at 60K. Okay, let's say you have those savings from somewhere for over the years. Let's say 15 years. At 15 years. 15 years. The interest is the same, so you'll get 10% interest rate every year, and every month. Oh, 2,000 a month. So that's a pretty good amount. So 2,000 a month. So in 15 years, you're gonna have $1 million right there. Okay. And again, that's if you don't take any money out during those 10 years, those 15 years. So you cannot touch that money. Okay, if you touch it, like I said, you kind of defeat that purpose of the long term. So I know it's tempting sometimes to try to get some profits, to buy a car, to buy something else, but just think about it. Once you have that $1 million, that $1 million is gonna make you $94,000 a year. Again, you don't have to put any more money into this account. You just let it grow, and it's addictive. I guarantee it. It's so addictive when you do this and you see your money grow. You're like, where do I, do I find a second job so that I can put in more money into this so that it grows faster, so that I can retire faster? It gets so addictive, and you don't want to stop. Once you see your account grow over a couple of years, you're like, I don't want to stop. I want to continue to do this, for a very long time. So I really enjoy and like that. Thank you for the rose and power. Thank you, man. I hope that helps. No problem, man. No problem. Hola, Julie. Hope you're doing okay. I hope you're watching this, Julie. I don't know if you're also. I think you said you have a long term account, right? That you're investing in. So I do too. That's my separate account. That's the one that I don't mess with. That is just on the side, and every month I just put money into that. Yeah. So I'm just helping a couple people understand, how they can use compound interest to create wealth in the future. Again, if you have savings, if you have money that you can use, long term, you will never be wrong with long term. Okay, long term will always save you if you want to retire early, or even if you don't want to retire early and you just want to have that money on the side that keeps making you money while you're sleeping. That's what you want to do. That's the power that this type of account has. And to open a broker's account, I mean, in a long term, you just go to any one of the brokers. You go to, like I mentioned earlier, Charles Schwab, Fidelity, Robinhood. You can do research on other brokers. Those are the ones that I've used in the past. So yeah. Okay. So let's go ahead and get started. For now, we think we have a couple of people already here. You guys ready to talk about this? Man, today was just crazy. So let's start with the good news, okay, and then we'll go to the bad news. So the good news, early in the morning, I know yesterday in the live I had said that Trump and President Xi Jinping from China, they had scheduled a call for Friday. For some reason, they moved it to Thursday. I don't know why. They probably wanted to get it out of the way, or scheduling. I don't know. But they were supposed to talk on Friday. They talked today in the morning. The call lasted about an hour and 15 minutes, according to what I read in the news, and the news were good. So they came to an agreement to meet again in person. So Trump is going to send the Secretary of Treasury, Scott Bessent, I think is his name, and he's going to send them to negotiate with a representative from China, and they're going to meet sometime, in the next couple weeks. We don't know where, we don't know exactly when, but we know they're meeting in person to negotiate all of this stuff with the tariffs, which, as you guys know, is what's keeping the market scared, because they don't know what the tariffs are going to look like, especially with China, because we buy a lot of stuff from China, and we want to know where those tariffs are going to be with that country. So those were great news. When those news came out, the market started to rally. All the stocks that I was watching, they were in the green. They were doing great. The S&P 500, I think it touched. Let me see. I think it was almost at 600, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. It hit 598, 599, somewhere around that range. I mean, let me show you that. Okay. So this is the daily candle for the S&P 500 at 599. So it was like $1 away from 600. Everything was looking great, and I thought we were gonna go to 600 and stay above 600 today on the S&P, because the S&P, as you guys know, that's an index that you can always watch, because that'll tell you where or how the rest of the market is doing. If you watch the S&P 500 and the S&P 500 is green, chances are most of the stocks are going to be in green. Um, I know we're going to talk about that, Julie. It's nuts, and I have a theory that I want to share with all of you guys, and I want to hear what you guys think about that. Okay, that's what makes sense to me, but we'll get to that in a second. So, anyways, that's what happened in the morning. Good news, everything was looking great. Then sometime in the morning, a couple hours after the market opened, we had Elon. Okay, Elon, he posted something about on X or Twitter, however you remember this platform. He posted something about the beautiful bill. Okay, you guys know about that beautiful bill. Let me move out of this page because then I have some videos and I don't want to get banned on TikTok. um, Let me go to Trading View. So he posted a lot of stuff on X that he didn't like the beautiful bill because it's going to raise the United States debt, and that's not good for the United States. And he called this bill disgusting, and he was just not happy. Okay, now that kind of scared the market a little bit, not too much, because he didn't say really anything that would affect the stocks. Now, after that tweet, he tweeted something else, and the next tweet that came out was more aggressive and more personal. Okay, and personal against Donald Trump because he called him out and said, "Well, Donald Trump is in the Epstein files." And for those of you guys that don't know who Epstein is, this is a guy that I think he was a banker, and he was involved in some scandal with women. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say because again, I don't want to get banned on TikTok. So he was not good. I think there's a documentary on Netflix about that. So, anyways, he said that Donald Trump is involved with this case, and the reason why they have not made that public is because they don't want Donald Trump's name to be in those files. So that's why they haven't made those files public. And that is kind of what started the whole thing. That's a stroke that broke the camel's back, because after that tweet, everything started to get more tense. Okay, especially for Tesla, which we're gonna look at that stock in a second. Tesla started to drop because of that tension between Trump and Elon Musk. Now you have to think about this: Trump and Musk. If you guys have been watching Trump's conferences and for the past couple of weeks, and him speaking at the White House, Elon has been right beside him this whole time, talking to him and telling him, we're friends and we're buddies. Elon even took his kids to the White House, to the Oval Office. His kids were in the Oval Office when Trump was speaking, so it seemed like they had a really tight and good relationship. And not counting that Elon Musk also donated a lot of money to Trump's campaign, okay, so that he could win the presidency. So everything was doing pretty good, okay, up until a couple weeks ago. And this morning, like I said, he came out with this tweet, said that the bill is not great. It's gonna hurt Americans. He called the bill disgusting, and then after that, he started calling out Trump because he's on the Epstein files, and that's why they haven't been released, which has nothing to do with anything. Okay, why would he bring that up like that? I feel like there's something else going on. Because why would he just bring it up because of the beautiful bill? That's not going to affect Elon Musk directly. I mean, indirectly, yes, because I think the bill that Trump wants the Congress to pass is going to remove the EV tax credit. You know how when you buy or were buying, the past couple years, if you were to buy an EV car, an electric car, you would get a $7,000 credit that was that Biden started to give out to kind of incentivize people to buy electric cars. So that was given for the, or it's been, they've been giving that for the past couple of years, to encourage people to buy electric cars. So that bill removes that credit, but I don't think that's the reason, because Elon Musk knew this since the bill was introduced. Okay, he knew that that credit was going to be removed. Now, for him to come out today and make things personal with Trump, I don't know. I think something else happened in the past couple of days that really woke Elon up and said, you know what we are doing is kind of crap. Maybe he found out some things in the government, some corruption. I don't know, something he didn't like, and that's why he left. Because he left a couple days ago. I don't know if you guys were here in the live when I said that Trump was going to have a meeting on TV because he was going to say goodbye to Elon. I think it was last Friday when he did that. So Elon was already gone from the government, and now that he's gone, he's coming out with all of this stuff about Trump and making it personal. And then that's what started everything, the conflict and then the back and forth with Trump. Then Trump came out, okay, because we were all waiting for Trump to come out and respond to what Elon said. And Trump came out. He tweeted that Elon was overreacting, that he knew about the bill, and he said, well, maybe he's too unstable right now, so maybe we should remove some of the contracts that we signed with SpaceX. And then Tesla, obviously, because it's owned also by Elon Musk, Tesla took a big dump. Okay, it just dropped to it broke a lot of supports, and it started going down. Okay, further down. I thought it was gonna stop at around 300, and it didn't. It just went all the way to 370, which was a resistance. I'm sorry, a support. So all of these comments and fight back and forth just created that tension that hit Tesla the most. So I don't know. I really don't think that the reason why Elon Musk is fighting with Trump is because of this bill. I mean, call me crazy, okay? It's not. I'm not trying to create or make up a story. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that he would post personal things and make this personal against Donald Trump just because of this bill. I think there's something going on. Something else that, again, he found out because as part of the government, you get information that the public doesn't get. And I'm assuming, Elon saw something, or he heard something, or he found out about something that he didn't like. He left the government, and now he's trying to, he's turning against the government pretty much. He's turning against Donald Trump. So we'll see, man. We'll see, guys. I don't know what you guys think about that. To me, it just doesn't make sense that he got so upset about that bill. I don't think it's about the bill because, who cares, if they're cutting rates or cutting taxes on that bill, how does that affect Elon Musk? It doesn't affect him. Unless he's that much of a patriot, okay, possibly, but even then, it just doesn't make sense that he's that upset about that bill. So the truth is gonna come out sooner or later. It's gonna come out. There's definitely gonna be a lot of tension between Elon Musk and Trump. So for all of you guys who are watching Tesla, I said it yesterday, and I've been saying it for the past couple of weeks, or in the past couple of lives, just reminding people, Tesla is a good stock. It's a good company, but it's a very volatile company to trade, because it moves 25% in a couple weeks. Today it dropped 17%. Okay, and that's just how the stock behaves. Okay, it's just the nature of that stock to move very aggressive, and you gotta know how to trade like a pro if you're trading Tesla. If you're buying or selling Tesla, you got to know what you're doing, because otherwise you could get stuck either at the bottom or at the top, and you could lose a lot of money. So just watch Tesla. If you guys are trading Tesla, be careful with that, especially now that there is a lot of tension between Elon Musk and Trump. Okay, so that is what happened today midday, and as you guys know, you can look at Tesla here, in the day candle, or the daily candle. You could see the drop from 354, which was the high today, all the way to 273.75. Okay, um, so that's a massive red candle for one day, for one single trading day. That's a big candle. So watch yourselves if you guys are trading Tesla tomorrow. If you're trying to do a put for tomorrow, um, right now I think it recovered a little bit, if I'm not mistaken. If you look at, oh, I'm sorry, I was looking at the weekly, the daily. Um, if you're trying to trade this tomorrow, it did recover a little bit. In my opinion, this is just an overreaction, because what happened between Trump and Elon Musk has nothing to do with Tesla. Okay, with the stock, it's just something personal that they have against each other, but nothing that has to do with Tesla. At least not until now. If Trump comes out and says, we're going to, you know, ban electric cars or something like that, then okay, now it's against Tesla. But the back and forth between them two, nothing that has to do with the stock. It was just an overreaction. That's why you see a little bit of a green candle at the end of the day. Okay, but again, be careful on that trade. So let's continue with a little bit more. Read a few more comments. Technologic, thank you for the follow, man. Chris, appreciate the follow. I got 10,000 cash on my lap as we speak. What would you suggest you invest in? Should I invest in or trade in? Julian, it depends on your goal, man. I can't give you advice. You got to do it for yourself. But it depends. If you want to do long-term trade, like I was talking about that long-term account earlier, then you can. Okay, you could invest that money into a long-term and cash out in 10 years, 20 years. But it all depends on what your goal is. If you don't have experience in the stock market, I wouldn't start trading with 10K. That's too much. It's a lot of risk, and you could start with just investing long term. Again, not financial advice, but you can start investing long term. And if you're interested in trading, then while that money is there and it's growing, you can start looking into how to trade and how to use that money and buy stocks. What are good stocks? What are bad stocks? And you can start from there. Cooper, what's going on, man? How are you? Let's see. Thank you for joining the live today, man. Appreciate that. Question for you. So I was planning on buying Tesla contracts, 340 strike, price expiring in August. User for 8. Like I said, I believe today was an overreaction. That's just my opinion. It was an overreaction. I do see Tesla with a lot of potential, but because there is this tension now between Trump and Musk, I don't know where Tesla's gonna be. Okay, especially if they have an event next week, which you guys know I've been telling you about this event, the Robo Taxi. That's good. That's good for Tesla. But remember, just because they have a good event and because Tesla receives good news, doesn't mean the stock is going to turn around and go back to 350 or 360. Okay. Once the stock starts a downtrend or breaks out of that uptrend, it's going to take a little bit more than that to turn it around. Okay. As you guys know, on the daily, it was doing pretty good. It was on this nice uptrend from back in April. So since the tariffs, it hit 214 to 20, and it was on that nice little uptrend, right, all the way to 350, 340, where it broke that uptrend. Now it's in a downtrend. It's changing trends. So if a stock changes trends, it needs to get out of that and back up to the uptrend. So just watch it. If you're already Excuse me. You said you already have that, or you're planning on to. You're planning. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Okay, right now it's gonna be in a downtrend. I don't know if I believe it's an overreaction, but that doesn't mean it's gonna turn around and go to 350 again. It's gonna take more than that. So I'm gonna wait to see what happens in the event in the robo taxi, unless we get more bad news and more, Trump coming out and say something about Tesla, and something negative, then the stock is gonna continue to move down. I might short it, okay, or I might buy some cash secure puts for Tesla at 220 to 200 to 220. That's my entry, okay, just to buy some stocks at that point. But if it doesn't get there, I'm not in a hurry to get into Tesla. I shorted the stock today, which I wasn't planning on to, but seeing all of this back and forth, I shorted Tesla from 330 to 275. I got out at 275 because I knew Tesla had a resistance at 270, or support in this case, which is, oh, it's actually marked here. I had it done for from a couple weeks ago. So it had a support at 270, but I wanted to play it safe, and I got out of it at 275, and I was lucky with that because it hit like 273, and then it bounced back up to 280. I think right now it's at 290. Let's see, how's Tesla doing right now? Tesla, oh, it's actually at 303, so it's recovering a little bit. So you see, guys, what I said about the overreaction. So now it's back to 300, but I shorted the stock and I got a couple $100 there. Uh, let's see. Norberto, how you doing, man? Hope you're doing all right today. I didn't see you in the live the other day. Fire stock looks like core weave. What? Fire stock looks like core weave. Let's see, core weave. How is that thing doing? And that's one of the stocks that I don't get into, but I check it for you guys. That's CR. I actually have it here. I forget the ticker symbol for that. Ba 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 ba. Is it this one? Core weave, yeah. I don't. So I know Norberto. He likes to, and he's been here for other lives. I know Norberto likes to risk a little bit of in some trades. I don't. Okay, this is, to me, this is a very risky trade. Okay, all of you guys who are looking into doing swing trading or day trading or whatever you want to get into in the future, this is one risky stock. You only trade these stocks if you're an expert, or if you're going to do like an intraday. You're gonna buy it and you're gonna sell it the same day. And I've been saying it. So this stock, it was a new IPO, so that already, it's a red flag for me. No, it's a no for me. So it opened at about $40. It skyrocketed to 166, and now it's back to 135. Okay, and it's just the nature of this stock because it's trying to find its price. Right now, this stock has no clue. Okay, the investors have no clue what the fair price for this stock is because it's brand new. They're trying to figure it out. They're trying to settle it. So this stock might make it's going to make aggressive moves to the upside or to the downside until it finds its fair price, which I'm thinking it's not going to be at 160. It's not going to be at 166. So unless you're doing intradays, you're doing scalping, you might be able to get some profits out of this stock because it looks like it's very volatile. But if you're not doing any of that and you're doing swing trade, this is not a stock to start with, especially if you're a beginner. So, why you read the comments so slow? Roberto, I'm not. The comments are great, and I appreciate you guys with the comments. But I like to share the news first, okay? Because that's what's moving the market. Then if I get the chance, then I read you guys' comments and we look at the stocks. But the news are where are moving the markets. To be honest. So I like to share that with everyone that watches the lives so that they know what to expect. Especially, I had a couple people who asked me about Tesla yesterday, and I told them Tesla is good. Okay, Tesla is a good stock, but it's very volatile. It's got a lot of got a lot of things coming up. But I definitely wasn't expecting what happened today with Elon Musk and Donald Trump. So that moved the stock like crazy. Cooper, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I was just explaining, what happened today with Elon and Trump. So thank you, appreciate it. Hard, thank you for the follow. So basically, buying long-term contracts for Tesla is very risky. User for 8. Mm, right now, because there's a lot of tension, I would say it has more risk than it did yesterday. Okay. Will Tesla go back to 340? Possibly. Okay, very possible. It depends on what the tension creates tomorrow and next week. Again, that's something that we can't predict. There's no way to know what's going to happen between Elon Musk and Donald Trump. If Donald Trump takes it personal, and like I said earlier, that's why I shared the news with you guys. If Donald Trump takes this personal and Elon Musk continues to bring out, things that he learned when he was in the government and he shares that to the public, that will create way more tension, okay, between Elon and Trump. And because Elon owns Tesla, it will affect Tesla directly. So I can't tell you, if this stock is going to get to 340, if it's going to be risky. Right now, if it was me, I would say yes, it's risky because of all of this stuff that's happening. I don't know where Tesla is going to go. I don't know if it's going to drop more. Obviously, like I said, it's an overreaction what happened today. But if there are more things that are rising the next couple of days, I do see Tesla falling even more. And you guys know that all stocks take the stairs up, but the window down. Okay, does that make sense? I know they use it a lot in trading. So stairs up, window down, which is exactly what happened. You see, it took Tesla to get to 273 where it got today. It took Tesla from April 25th until May 25th. So it took Tesla about a month to get to that level of 360, from 270 to 360. And it just took Tesla 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days to drop back. Okay, so a month to go up, 6 days to go down. So, again, I can't tell you what to do. If you already studied Tesla and you believe that it will recover to 340, by all means. But I'm just telling you, when there are problems of this kind, the stock tends to continue to drop, especially if it broke that uptrend. Okay, so can you take a look at Nvidia? Can we look forward to 150 break in the near future? User for 8. Definitely Nvidia, one of my favorites. If you guys are trading Nvidia, you guys are trading some of my favorite companies. Okay, Nvidia is a strong stock. It's got a lot of potential. The only reason why Nvidia keeps going down and not breaking that 144, 145 resistance, because he was gonna break it today. I was looking at it and I was like, man, this stock is doing so great. I'm not in Nvidia anymore. I sold. If you guys have been on my lives, I share that with you. I sold out of Nvidia last week before earnings. I took my profits and I'm done with the stock for now. I won't be buying an Nvidia until it drops back to 120, 125. I'll start to buy some shares, but as of now, I'm not entering into Nvidia. So, what was I saying? Oh, it was gonna break 145 today. Okay, it was doing pretty good in the morning, but then the news came out and the tension, Trump, Musk, that dropped the entire market. Okay, not just Tesla. It affected the entire market. I mean, it affected Tesla the most because Elon owns Tesla, but it affected all the stocks. Okay, it affected the S&P 500. It affected Nvidia. It affected Apple. So, do I see Nvidia breaking 145? Very possible. Right now, it's at this resistance of 140. Where's Nvidia right now? Nvidia is at 140. Yeah, so it's got good support at 140, which is great. Okay, anything above 140, it could still trend into that channel of 143, 145. So I think it's gonna be there until we get good news either on a deal with India or a deal with China. Any news on that? Anything that is positive for the market, I think it's gonna move Nvidia out of those 145 and tap those 150. I don't see any reason why Nvidia will drop at this point. It will drop eventually, that is guaranteed. But as of now, in the short term, I don't see anything that's going to drop Nvidia. So I do see Nvidia touching the 150 before it goes down to 120s again. Let's see. Will Tesla recover? Yes, Curry. In the long term, yes. In the long term, I think Tesla's got a lot of potential. It has the full self driving unsupervised coming up next week on Thursday, as you guys know, on the Robotaxi. And in the short term, there's a lot of tension. Okay, a lot of tension, a lot of problems with Trump, with Elon and the administration. So we just gotta see what happens tomorrow. If if Elon is not happy and he continues to tweet more stuff tomorrow, you're gonna see Tesla suffer more. So hopefully by now he's calm and he's not tweeting any more stuff tomorrow. But again, that's not something we that's not something we can predict. So let's see. NBIS, Norberto. Yeah, we'll check that in a second. Quantum stocks, King Leo, Quanta stock. Give me the ticker symbol of whatever stock you want to look at. Or are you just talking about like quantum stocks in general? I don't know, but if you are looking at a specific stock, just give me the ticker and we'll put it here and show it to everyone. Norberto, NBIS. Let's see. NBIS. That's a Nevius. All right. I like it. Finally broke out of that downtrend channel. See, everyone here, trends 101. Okay, let's learn a little bit of trend stocks trending 101. So you guys see how this stock was at $87 back in November of 2021. So that was 4 years ago. It did nothing but drop. Lower highs, lower lows, lower high. Let me mark that. Lower high, lower low. Okay, and then it did a lower high, but it did not do a lower low. It actually broke out of that downtrend, and now it's here. I don't know if you received good news. I don't trade this stock, so I don't know exactly what the news are on this stock, but it's finally out of that downtrend. So that is a good stock, Norberto. Thank you for sharing that. I don't know if you have shares on this, but it's doing pretty good, pretty decent out of that channel. I would expect this to bounce off. Well, actually, I already did. It bounced off the 200 SMA, which is a really, really good support. You guys see it right there, right here. Okay, really good support. So it bounced off of that 200 and it jumped up. So I would expect this stock to continue to move up. Okay, I hope it continues to have good news. I'm not trading that, but I don't know if you are, Norberto. ¿Cuál compañía estás invirtiendo ahorita? Edgar. Tengo shares in Google. So I have shares in Google. I have shares on in Amazon. Those are my only two positions, Amazon and Google. I did a cover call for Google today when it was at 170. So I think my cover call was at 172.50, and Google dropped after that. So tomorrow, if it's still under 168, which I think it was earlier, let's see. Google 168, 169. So I think my contracts, I'm gonna buy back the contracts tomorrow because I'm already more than 90% in the positive with those contracts. So I'm just gonna get some money. I'm making a couple $100 there. And Amazon, did I do a cover call? No, I didn't do a cover call on Amazon. Oh, I have some Apple too. I have, think, about 200 shares of Apple. I did a cover call as well for 205. Apple dropped to 201. So that gave more value to my contract. So I'm going to sell those contracts tomorrow. Buy them back. And then make another couple $100 on Apple. So I take small profits. So for those of you guys that are here, I don't take thousands of dollars in profits. Unless last week I did pretty good on Nvidia. I'm not gonna lie. So that's one of my biggest one of the biggest positions I had, and one of the biggest earnings I've had in the past couple of years. So that was about 20K in profits that I took on Nvidia. But it's not something that happens all the time, because that big drop on Nvidia a couple of months ago, I was just buying, buying shares and buying shares, and then Nvidia exploded, and I sold up about at 137. So, but this is not something that happens all the time. Let's see. Don't you think that what happened between Elon and Trump is just to get attention? Rosario, I think there's something else going on. I mean, you're not wrong. I think it's to get people's attention, but I also think that there's, if it's not for that reason, I think there's got to be some other reason, some other strong reason. Either something happened with between Elon and somebody else, because I don't know if you guys watched the the conference that Trump had last Friday when he was saying goodbye to Elon. Elon he had a black eye. You guys notice that? I mean, I don't know if you watched it, but he was right next to Trump, and he had a black eye, which was strange. But nobody talked about that. So, I mean, we thought maybe he fell, maybe he hit, his son hit him, or with a toy or something. But nobody really paid attention to that. Uh, Rumors are that he got into a fight with one of the cabinet members of Trump, and I don't know. Okay, now it makes a little sense. So I think it is for attention, and if it's not, then there's gotta be something shady happening that Elon didn't like. So he even I don't know if you guys also kept up with that, but he's even trying to create his own party, okay, his own political party, so that he can maybe run for president. I know he cannot because he wasn't born in the United States, but I mean, I've seen crazier things, so we'll see. So Rosario, thank you for that comment. Appreciate it. Let's see. Jay, sell that, sell that she. What do you mean? It'll drop, but then bottom to 160. Easy. SHI. SHI. What is that? I don't think that's the ticker symbol. Give me the ticker symbol and we can look at it. PWR. PWR. That's Quanta Services. Is that the one? I think I looked at the wrong one. Maybe. PWR, PWR. Yeah, I think that's the one. Uh, okay. Not bad. Um, the first thing, I mean, you guys know me. If you've been here in the lives, first thing I like to look at is the trend. What is the trend for the past couple years? The last 5 years, just to be more accurate. And it's in an uptrend. It's been, as you guys can see, it's been following the 200 SMA, which is really good. Anything under the 200 SMA, it's bad. But you guys could see here, it dropped under the 200 SMA, but it reclaimed it, had that big jump, and right now it's above that. It's uptrending. It's a good stock. It's a good stock. Who is that? King Leo. It looks pretty good, man. I don't know if you're buying this or already bought it and you're in profits, but I mean, for the long term, I don't know what this does. Industrial services, engineering, and construction. Whatever it does, it looks solid. I like the technicals. I don't know the stock. I don't know what it does. I don't know, what the future is for this stock, if it has plans to grow. But as far as earnings, it's been having positive earnings, and the technicals are good. So I don't think this is a crazy stock. I like it. FG, do Google. Google, one of my favorites. I have stocks in Google. Google is struggling to get out of that 170 resistance. So last week it did touch 177. I was so hesitant to sell at 177. I don't know why. I should have just sold at 177, but it did hit 177 last week. It rejected that. This week on the daily, it's under the 200 SMA. So I hope it breaks it. Google hasn't had bad news ever since Apple said that they were going to remove Google as a search the default from iPhones. That's what made the stock drop. and it has been trying to recover ever since. And but other than that, there are no bad news on Google. So I trust Google. I think Google is gonna be fine as it gets closer to earnings. It'll be fine. It'll be probably at resistance 175, possibly 180, somewhere around that range. I think Uber is going to 100. They might buy then when Robotaxi come out. They might buy what? Robotaxis? Possibly. I mean, I don't know how that's gonna work. I'm not informed whether, because you're gonna be able to buy Uber. I'm sorry, not Uber. Robo taxis, right? Even you guys, if you guys want to buy a robo taxi, you'll be able to, and you can just put that robo taxi to work. So once the full self driving unsupervised is approved and everything is rolling, that's the plan, right? That's the plan that Tesla has for everyone. That you can buy a robo taxi, you can put it to work, and you are at home, and your robo taxi is working, dropping off people, picking up, some rides, and dropping people in different places and making you money while you just are at home. All you have to do is when the Uber or the robo taxi gets to your house, you charge it and then put it to work again. So I don't know how that's going to affect Uber. If Uber buys a lot of robo taxis, possibly. I don't know if Tesla's gonna have some restrictions on that. I'm assuming not, because if they're making money by selling more robo taxis, who cares? Uber could take all of those and operate without a driver. So possibly. I don't know. My first guess was that Uber was going to drop because now Tesla is gonna have its own business. But like I said, I don't know if Tesla is going to create an Uber-like company where they have their own service and they service all of those robo taxis. I'm assuming not, because Tesla is in the business of selling cars, not having that. But I mean, I don't know. I've seen crazier things. Maybe they do come up with a company, and that company owns a bunch of robo taxis, and they compete against Uber, and that will make Uber drop. So I don't know what the plan is yet. No, we have to find out more information about that. Yeah. So I mean, you trust Uber. I don't know. I need to find out more information for me to trust it. Oh, okay. So you are the reason why. So you're the reason why it plummeted. What do you mean, Jay? Research it plummeted. What plummeted? Edgar, ¿qué piensas de UNH? UNH, United Health. Interesting stock. This stock had a lot of problems. We haven't heard any news, Edgar, about. We haven't heard any news about what happened with this stock. This stock dropped because it had problems with the CEO. CEO quit. They didn't have a guidance, so that made the stock drop even further. And then what was the other thing? They were accused of fraud, which is the main thing. That's what they're still investigating. They haven't said anything. We haven't heard anything about this stock ever since those news. So no news is good news. It's been using or creating a support here. Okay, so it's consolidating at this point at about 290, 300. So as of now, we haven't heard any news. You could. I think in the long term it'll be fine. In the long term it'll be okay. But as of now, we need to hear a little bit more clarification on those accusations. King Leo, thank you for the follow, man. Appreciate it. Do you think SPY will go up tomorrow? Rosario, SPY. So tomorrow we have an interesting piece of data, which is jobs added. Okay, how many jobs are being added to the economy? If the numbers come up or come out way below, I think that's gonna give the market a little reason to drop. Okay, why? Because today SPY already had a close with a red candle. I think anything that is negative at this point, the stock is gonna take it, and it's not going to react as it did a couple days ago, because the SPY had bad news for a couple days. it had bad news on ADP, on new payroll. Okay, that dropped from 110 expected to 37,000. Okay, this is how many jobs were created in the private sector. So the number dropped dramatically, and those were bad news, and the market didn't even react to that. That was yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. And then the day before, we had also bad news on I forgot what the other piece of data was, but it was negative, and the market didn't even care about that. So those two things didn't even move the SPY or push the SPY down. Now, because we had all of this friction with between Trump and Musk, that made the SPY drop. And any bad news from now on, I think the SPY is going to take it as negative and it'll continue to drop. So we'll have to wait and see what happens tomorrow morning with the addition of new jobs. Again, if it's weak, I think that's going to make the SPY drop. If it's strong, that'll probably keep the SPY flat. I don't think we're going to go to 600 tomorrow. It doesn't look like it. The futures, let's see, the futures, I think they're pretty flat right now. I think they're slightly up. Okay, not too crazy, but they're slightly up. Futures. Yeah, I mean they're slightly up right now. So we'll see. The data is definitely going to move and decide where the SPY is going to go tomorrow. Is volume one of the best indicators to use for whatever trading strategy you do, Chris? Yes. I mean, it's part of what you have to look at in terms of indicators to know where the stock is going to go. Volume only tells you the liquidity of the stock. For example, if you have a low volume, the stock is not really going to move. So you could buy, let's say a stock is $100, and if it doesn't have enough volume, it's going to move to maybe $100.50, and it's going to drop to maybe 99.50, and it's going to be in that range. So not really moving. So in order for you to make money, if you're doing a swing trade or you're doing an intraday, so a day trade, that doesn't work. That doesn't work because you could buy at 99.50, hoping that it goes to 100 and maybe drops to $99, and it's very slow, not really moving because there is not enough volume. So a lot of the traders, they look for stocks that have high volume that can move from 99.50 to 103, and then back to 99, and then maybe back to 105. Does that make sense? So a lot of traders, they like high volume because it does exactly that. It moves the stock. It creates that volatility up and down, and there's opportunity to buy low and sell high. So that's one of the things you have to look at as an indicator, but you have to combine it with other things like the daily candles, the SMAs, which are the averages, and then I use the RSI as another indicator. Okay, so yeah, you have to combine it. It's important, but you have to combine it with other indicators as well. FJ, Uber. We can look at Uber. Oops. Ooh, I need to catch up on the comments. I'm gonna try to do it faster. So Uber Technologies. Let's see how Uber is doing. Uber is okay. So it rejected. Is this all-time highs? I don't even know. Let's see. Yeah, it seems like it's all-time highs. It rejected all-time highs at about $93. But it is trending above the 200, the 50. It broke through the 20, but it's done that before and then recovered. Oh, I mean, it's not looking too bad. I want to see what damage or benefit the robotaxi does to Uber. Norberto seems to have a lot of faith in Uber, so we'll see. In my opinion, I need to see what the robotaxi does to Uber. If what Norberto mentioned earlier, if that plans out and Uber buys a bunch of robotaxis to put them to work so that they don't have to pay for a driver, they just get the Uber, that makes a lot of sense. I hadn't even thought about that, Norberto, so thank you for bringing that up. So if they buy like a bunch of Uber robotaxis and they put them to work, now they don't even have to pay the driver. They just send the robo taxi, and all the profits are for them. So that's a really good point, and that could help Uber grow. So definitely. King Leo, yes. What did you say earlier? Power. Okay, so I think I answered your question. Tesla Spider, rip Tesla. I mean, it's gonna suffer in the short term for sure, but I think in the long term, Tesla's got a lot of plans. It's got good plans. It's got the Optimus robot. It's got the full self driving, unsupervised coming up. So we gotta wait and see. Lily, hello Lily. Are you a trader, and what do you trade? Lily, I am a swing trader. Yes, I am, and I also invest in the long term, and I trade. And what do you trade? I trade the mainly the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq. So stocks in one of those indexes. Man, you speak. Me, you speak. Oh, Spanish? Yeah, I do speak Spanish. I'm trying to do a live right now because I'm a teacher. I don't get time in the morning, but I'm on vacation starting next week. So starting next week, I'm gonna do some lives in the morning in Spanish. So I don't know if you guys are Spanish speakers. If you are, the lives I'm gonna do them in the morning when I do some of my trades. And if you guys like to join me, if you're a Spanish speakers, of course, because that's gonna be entirely in Spanish, then you guys can join me. But that'll be starting probably next week, sometime in the morning. Man, CRWV. CRWV. We looked at that yesterday. Yeah, CRWV right there. So, okay. So that's CoreWeave. Yeah, I forget the ticker symbol. So Witter, do you remember when we talked about this? I don't know if you do, man. And you're gonna correct me if I'm wrong, and you can call me stupid. But I did say it, didn't I? I said this kind of stock has aggressive jumps, especially because it's new, but eventually it will drop. I said it. It will drop. It will try to find its fair price, and it'll stay there for a while. So I don't know if you were here yesterday when we talked about that, or the day before yesterday. But when I say stuff like this, it's not because I believe it. Okay, this is not based on my opinion. This is based on what I've learned over the years, what I learned from other people that have traded stocks like this over the years. Okay, and it's just based on statistics. Okay, statistically, when a stock or a new IPO is released, it doesn't have a set price because it doesn't have earnings, it doesn't have cash flow, it doesn't have any of the fundamentals that you have to look at. So the stock is gonna make those aggressive moves no matter what, and then eventually it'll find its fair price. So we talked about this a couple days ago. I'm a scalper and swing trader too, and I picked the best stock in the world. Alberto, yeah, I mean for scalping, it does make sense that you trade stuff like this because you can take profits either going up or going down, and then you're out of that stock in like seconds. So for you, it makes sense. But for someone like me who does swing trade, this stock does not work. I'm risking my money, and that's not what I want to do. Aiden, there's ARCC. ARCC. Aries Capital Corporation. Let's see fundamentals. Let's see technical. Drop 5 years. Let's look at the weekly because that's too many candles. I don't see a lot of move. This is Aiden. I don't see a lot of move. I mean, it's at $20 right now, and it was at $20 in 2007. So you see that? 2007, $20 right now, $20. This must pay like good dividends if it's not moving a lot. Let's see, dividend yield 8.76. Yeah, so it pays good dividends. Typically, stocks that pay good dividends is because they don't move a lot, so they try to attract investors and say, hey, we don't really pay a lot in the stock because it stays at the same price for a very long time, but we're gonna pay you good dividends so that you put in your money here, and we can pay you, every quarter or every year or whenever they pay. So for me as a swing trader, this doesn't make sense because I'm not here for the dividends. I'm here for stocks that have volatility so that I can make money. Imagine if I invested money in 2006 at $20. Right now it'll be at 21. So I earn $1 per share in 20 years. So that's not a good one to invest for the long term. Thanks for the review on PLA. What does that 200 SMA mean? King Leo, the 200 SMA, it just means the average. Okay, for the past 200 days, what's the average price for that stock for the past 200 days, which is about 6 months. Okay, so a lot of the professionals that do this for a living, they look at this as the average. Okay, so the past 200 days, has the stock been above or below? And obviously you want the stock to be above, because that means the stock is uptrending. Okay, that tells you that the stock keeps going up, it's not going down. Okay, it might touch it or break through it a little bit, but then it recovers. Okay, so that's what that means. See, I have the best stocks ever. Yeah, I mean, for scalping, almost any stock. You don't even, for scalping, for those of you guys that don't know what scalping is when you sell stocks in like seconds. You buy it, right now at 1022, and you sell it at 1022 with 30 seconds, because it's moving so fast. Problem with that is that you gotta be paying attention. You have to have hotkeys on your keyboard, so that you press 2 keys, it buys. You press another 2 keys, it sells, because you're doing things so fast. For me, that's too stressful. I don't do that. And I just don't have the time to do it during the day that way. And sometimes you could just buy and it drops, and then you lose money that quick. Can't trade futures when Trump is speaking tomorrow morning. Patrick, so I know. Oh, is he speaking tomorrow morning? I don't know. I didn't get that message. Maybe he is. I didn't look at that on the news. So I know tomorrow morning there we have a data of new report or new jobs added, and that will move the market. But if Trump is speaking, definitely that's gonna move the market more than the data. See, Norberto. Okay, Norberto, ZS. We can check CS right there. And I'm checking it just for you, man. Oh, nice. Look at all of those green candles. That looks very nice. But again, the more aggressive the bull run, the more aggressive the drop. Keep that in mind. More aggressive the bull run, more aggressive the drop. So this will have a drop, and you might benefit, maybe short it, because again, you're scalping, you're probably not in this stock. I don't know what this stock does, but that's a big pump to 375, a big drop to $89. I don't like those kind of stocks that go from 300 to 80 on what. So NQ, the Nasdaq futures ripping up. Okay, I didn't see that. Let's see, I know they was slightly up, but not ripping up. Nasdaq, 21. Okay, I mean they're moving slightly, not too crazy. We'll wait and see tomorrow what happens. Remember that the European market opens at 2 a.m. in the morning, so we just have to wait and see what happens there. Then setting is an asset and to a trust fund. Wait, what? Then setting it as an asset into a trust fund. Setting what? Archaic. Setting what, man? Oh, financial move to open a whole life insurance policy. I don't know, man. I don't know on that. I wouldn't be able to give you information on an insurance policy. I don't have anything like that, so I would be the wrong person to give you the info. Sorry about that. I don't know. See. What time is the job report coming out tomorrow? Good question. I like that question. I like when you guys are interested in the good data, because the data moves the markets. 8:30 a.m. So this is Eastern time. So that means 5:30 a.m. Pacific time. I don't know what time zones you guys live in, but 8:30 Eastern time, 5:30 Pacific time, which is my time zone at 5:30. So at 5:30, when I get this data, I put it on my story. So if you guys don't follow me yet, follow me. You will see that as soon as it comes out and I have the data, I put it on there, and you guys will know before market opens, because this is before market opens. Market open for me at 6:30 a.m. So this is like an hour before market opens. That's why I said this is gonna move the markets, because it will come out before the market opens. So you'll know more or less where the market is gonna go. That way you can make your your choices. Okay, switch that. Thoughts on silver breaking out, Jack? I don't know. I don't trade silver, man. But all I know is that when stocks are volatile and people are scared of where stocks are gonna go because of tariffs, people move their money out of stocks and they put it into silver. They put it into gold, and that's what makes those stocks go up. Right now, stocks went down today. We have to wait and see what happens tomorrow. If they continue with that downtrend from today, then I do see gold and silver going up tomorrow. Um, what is the name of the platform you're using? Chewy. It's called TradingView. TradingView is a good platform for me. There are other ones like Thinkorswim. I like Thinkorswim too, but I started with TradingView, so I prefer to use this one. Makes perfect sense. Thanks, Chris. No problem, man. User 14, thank you for the follow. Uber looks good. Aiden. Yeah, like I said, Uber it's gonna react to what happens with the robo taxi, and if they acquire a bunch of robo taxis and have them work for Uber, then imagine Uber drivers, your your uh, your job is gonna be taken by unsupervised, um, what's it called, unsupervised self-driving. Okay, supervised self-driving. Let's see. I wouldn't trust to get on those taxis. Julie, you wouldn't trust to get into an Uber with no driver? I mean, this is the future. You've seen it in movies. I've seen it in movies, and I don't know. I know they had a report where a couple years ago when they first started testing the robo taxis, and I think there was a fatal accident in one of the robo taxis. But that was a couple years ago. I'm pretty sure they have updated their software, and I mean, there's still so many things to test, so many possibilities. So yeah, so it's interesting, but it's the future. I believe, strongly believe, it's the future, and with AI and all of this stuff that's put into these cars, um, I think it's just the future. I would trust it for like a short trip, like in town, and you're going to like maybe the other side of town. You have a lot of lights, so cars don't tend to go that fast. I would trust it, but definitely not to get into the freeway. At least not at first. Load up on silver before it's too late. You'll be mad if you don't. Jack, I don't trade silver, man. Silver tends to move very slow. I mean, slowly but surely, right? But I make more money when I trade stocks that move up and down. So I wouldn't do it on silver. Yes, you did. Witter. Yeah. So I hope it makes sense, man. So a lot of people that trade stocks that have these kind of moves. Where was that stock? Right there. So a lot of people that trade stocks like this that have those kind of aggressive moves, they they don't believe when people like me say stuff like that. When when we say, "Hey, this stock, it's a very volatile stock. Um, if you buy at all-time highs, it might make you lose your money." They don't believe it. They want to experience that for themselves, and then they come back and say, "Man, I know you said it. I know, I've been there." A lot of us want to test it before we believe it's true. All I'm trying to do is communicate what I've seen in the past, what I've done in the past, so that you guys don't make those mistakes, and you don't get hurt by losing money on this type of stocks. Jack, too late. Okay, good. Damien, Hood is good, man. Hood is been ripping and breaking through all of those resistances. So I believe Hood could be a lot higher. I think it was at like 80 last time I checked, but it's doing pretty good. Haven't heard anything bad about Hood, and it's adding more services. So good stock. Take a look at one of my silver mine stocks, AG, and average at 580. Jack. I don't trade silver, man. So, but if you do and you're doing pretty good, good job. And we can look at that though. AG, AG, Film IS6 Silver Core. I mean, it's not too bad, but those kind of moves, they're not natural moves. So come back, in a couple of days, tell me if this sustained and it just kept going up. By just looking at this, I know it's gonna drop. Okay, it's gonna drop pretty soon. So we'll see. We'll see what happens, but I'm pretty sure it's going to drop. Uh, Again, not financial advice, but that's what I believe. That's what I see on this stock. Jag been popping off, and have all the others. Well, okay. Juan, thank you for the follow, man. Sac Q, thank you for the follow. Or Sac R, Samer, thank you for the follow, man. iCord, thank you for sharing the live. Appreciate it. Witter, how can a regular person scalp, especially when we don't have hotkeys? See, ooh, I lost that comment. Witter, it's the same. It's the same as trading, man. Except that the hotkeys, not a lot of brokers offer that service. Like if you have Robinhood, Robinhood doesn't offer that service or that feature, I should say, not service. But if you have brokers like I think Charles Schwab, they do offer hotkeys. You just have to have a reliable keyboard, not a probably not a wireless keyboard, because those sometimes run out of battery. And imagine using the hotkeys and running out of battery. Uh, but uh, but you could do it. I mean, anyone can do it. Um, but you have to have those hotkeys because you go in and out of stocks really quick, and you need to have that feature to get in and out, in seconds. So, but anyone can do it. You just have to have the right broker, the broker that has that feature. Pretty sure Webull has a turbo trader and buy and sell layup button. Okay, so Aiden already answered my question. I didn't see that. President Mouse, sell or buy. Juan, yes, the mouse is good, but at the same time, scalpers, they get in and out of trades in seconds. And sometimes the mouse going here, going there, typing the number and doing all that stuff, that takes seconds, and that could mean your profit, or that could mean you getting out of a stock because you're losing money. So hotkeys, you press a couple keys, you sell at a certain price, and makes it in 2-3 seconds. You buy or sell. Hey, take a look at they're going crazy, and in this for long. Okay. Thoughts on IVs or suggestions for a new stock going public? iCord. We talked about new IPOs yesterday. A lot of people brought it up because I think there was a stock coming out today that they were looking at. But this is not a new IPO. I mean, it's got some history. This is not a new IPO, iCord. I mean, this was new back in 2016. This already has a lot of history and data that you can look at. So I wouldn't consider this a new IPO. But this stock doesn't. Let's see. Highs of 60, lows of 27, 48, and this does, what is this? Whitbush miscellaneous investment trust mutual funds. Let's see. So it's just a mutual fund. Is this the one? This is just a mutual funds company. I don't see a lot of movement though. It's highs of 60, lows of 28 or 30. So about $30 movement for like 6 years. Just not enough for me to be interested in that stock because there's no growth. I mean, it was already at all-time highs. It rejected, and it's just been trending at like 48 or $50. So not a lot of movement there. This is a multi-year play for me. I'm trading. I'm still attempting to maintain a long post. Okay. Thoughts on AN? That was Secure. Thoughts on AN? What is AN? AN. Nasdaq. Trades in the Nasdaq. $3. Penny stock. Bad, bad, bad. All over. Bad. It has a downtrend. It's a penny stock. It has pump and dump. You can see this. We talked about this earlier. So all of you guys, this is a great example of what you should not trade. Not financial advice, but these are the trades that make people lose money and get out of the market. Because they have big pumps like that and then dumps, and big pumps and dump, big pump and dump. And it's in a downtrend. So if it's going down, why would you buy it? Everyone's running away from this company. They're taking profits or they're taking their money, walking away. Why would you go against people who are running your way? So not good. James, hola. Hola, maestro. Tesla is in dangerous situation because I know, because mama and papa fight. James, yeah. yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Tesla reacts tomorrow. It's already recovering a little bit. We talked about it earlier today. It overreacted to what happened because what happened has nothing to do with Tesla. It's just conflict between Elon and Trump. So we'll see how it reacts tomorrow. Definitely anything else that Elon posts on Twitter or X, it's going to continue to affect the stock if it's something negative. It's scary, Sergio. I'm good, lol. Text the bot. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. See, I would have bought some in the miner stock back in 2023 when I started buying silver. Yeah, could have, would have, should have, right? See, Damien, thank you. No problem, man. Jack, load up after the next. Okay, check out Sundog. 00 Trading. Sundog. Is that the ticker symbol? That's a long ticker symbol. Sundog. I don't think that's it because I don't have it here. Um, See, yeah, you should long term hold for sure. Yep. Check out. Okay, Kraken Crypto. I don't do crypto 00 trading for the same reason that I don't do penny stocks, pump and dump, or sometimes they move and drop without reason. I know crypto is not doing very hot right now. Bitcoin, I think it touched that resistance at 100. I do look at crypto, but not to trade it, just to kind of stay updated or up to date. But I don't really trade it. Rosario QQQ. QQQ is looking pretty strong. Not gonna lie. I think QQQ is trying to touch that all-time highs at 540. Okay, today it was at 533. So it was doing pretty good until the news between Trump and Musk. But as you can see, it's still close. Let's see, the way close with the negative candle. But I think right now the futures for the Qs are looking pretty good. Um, Again, we have to wait and see what happens tomorrow with the jobs report in the morning. But the futures are looking better. Okay, are looking slightly up. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. But I do think that QQQ will try to touch that all-time high because Nvidia wants to go up, and we know that that Nvidia is a big part of QQQ. So Nvidia wants to touch all-time high too. 145, 150. So we'll see if that carries the Qs. But I'm hoping it does get to 500. Um, oh man, Ives on my trading view didn't show any charts. We just looked at that. Yeah, we looked at that. Ives, right? Ives, yeah. iCord. I don't know if you're looking at maybe a different time frame, and that's why it didn't show. So check that. Um, okay, what do you think about Toshi? Jair. Toshi. Toshi. Is that a Toshi? Is that the one? I mean, that's crypto. I don't do that, man. You're putting your money in. If you understand it, maybe it's because I don't understand it and I'm biased because I just don't do this kind of stock, especially this one that has a downtrend. I mean, I wouldn't even touch it. Even if I was into this and I knew how crypto works, I wouldn't even try to touch it because it's in a downtrend just by looking at the technicals. Um, See, hymns. What do you think, Freddie? Hymns. Okay, let's look at hymns. I actually have it somewhere right there. Um, Hymns and the daily. Okay, so this is a stock that we looked at the other day. I did say it has resistance here because for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for about 6 days it tried to break that resistance. It could not, and then it went back to it on June 3rd. It rejected that again, and now it's in a little downtrend. So be careful with that. It's trying to break that resistance. It's very close to all-time highs, and it's had that bull run. This is my biggest concern with hymns is that it's very far away from those moving averages. Okay, when it's that far away, my educated guess is that it's probably gonna try to touch or get close to the 50 before it bounces back again because it has used the 50 as support in the past. Okay, all here it used that as support, bounced back, broke through it, it used it as support, bounced back. So my guess is gonna try to touch that 50 again. What do you think about IVs? They manage? Don't they manage QQQ? IVZ Aiden. IVZ. What do you mean manage QQQ? Invesco. It's in a downtrend. Doesn't look too good for now. Anytime a stock trades under the 200 SMA, it's probably bearish, at least for me in my eyes. Okay. On top of that, I mean, this stock is all over the place. It's coming from like a 29 all-time high and trending at 14. So already not looking good and in a downtrend. Is it better? No problem, Jair. Is it better Elon keeps silent to cool down Trump? Trump can't cancel robotaxi permit. That's what I said, James. I said if earlier, if Trump takes this personal, just like Elon Musk took this personal, he insulted Donald Trump. He told him that he was in the Epstein files, and that's the reason why the files haven't made available, or they haven't made available those files to the public, because Trump is in those files. His name is in there, and that is personal. That has nothing to do with anything. Has nothing to do with the beautiful bill, because that was supposed what started this whole conflict. That Elon didn't like what was in the beautiful bill. Okay, all of these tax cuts and all of this stuff that's going to increase the United States debt. That's what supposedly he didn't like. But then he turned it around and made it personal against Trump, which I'm not on either side, but why would you bring that up, against Trump? So because Elon made it personal with Trump, Trump could make it personal with Elon. So he could say something that's going to affect, Tesla. He didn't say anything that affected Tesla today. He just said stuff against Elon because they were just going back and forth. But that had nothing to do with Tesla. Tesla got affected because Elon is the CEO of Tesla. But it could very well he could very well make it personal tomorrow. And he did remove some contracts from X Space, but again, nothing to do with Tesla. So he could cancel some things. He could say, we're not going to allow EVs in certain parts, or I don't know, whatever. He could make it very difficult for Elon. So we'll see what we hear for the next couple weeks. Should I buy some Tesla right now, Brandon? If you are not an expert trader, I would not start with Tesla. Okay, that's just again, not financial advice. You can do whatever you like. This is just my experience. If I was new to trading, I will not start with Tesla. Tesla is a stock that could go 25% up or could go 25% down in one day. It just did it today. Today it dropped about 17% in one day. Okay. And if you're very emotional and you're new to this, you're going to panic. You're going to sell your stock. You're going to take that loss. And then next day it's going to recover. So Tesla is very volatile for new people. XRP. I don't do XRP, but we can look at the chart. As you can see, it is in a downtrend. It keeps moving down. But I mean, all crypto was affected today because of the conflict between Elon. So in a downtrend, I would not buy XRP. Even if I was into it, I would not buy XRP. Tesla due for recovery. Cooper. Tesla did the drop that it had. It is with merit because of everything that happened between Trump and Elon. But I think it was an overreaction. That's just my opinion. I think it was an overreaction. I think tomorrow Tesla, if we don't have any more fights between Trump and Elon Musk, I think it's going to recover a little or stay flat. Move a little bit up, maybe flat, up and flat. But I don't think it should have dropped to 273, which is where it got there today. It was a move of about 40, 50, 60, about $70 in one day, which is crazy. So it was an overreaction, but we'll see. If we don't hear anything back from Elon fighting Trump, then I could see Tesla recovering a little. You can't fight with your boss, right? I know. Well, he's not his boss anymore because he's not in the government. You think 200 is a good entry on Tesla? James, I can't tell you what to do, but I'll tell you what I would do. If Tesla gets to 200, I'm going to get a bunch of shares. I'm going to buy probably 100 shares, 200 shares, and keep them for the long term. So I would do that. If it gets to even at 220, I'm gonna start looking at it because that's the resistance it had uh, about 2 months ago. So I would definitely get into that. See, James, AU 180. That's gold, isn't it? AU, AU and a gold. Yeah, I think this is it. And you said what? 180? Is this the one? I don't know if this is the one, Aiden. Any recommendations? Well, I can give you recommendations, Jair, but I don't know if you're talking about stocks. So I wouldn't start if you're starting on in this business. I wouldn't start with crypto, man. Crypto is very volatile and it's got no fundamentals. It just moves wherever it wants. ¿Cómo se llama la platform? Chuy, TradingView. La que estoy usando se llama TradingView. It's called TradingView. It's already back to around 300. Cooper, yeah. So like I said, it did recover a little bit because of that overreaction on the fight between Elon and Trump, which had nothing to do with Tesla. Okay, but Trump can make it personal. You know him. He could make it personal tomorrow and say something negative about Tesla. So keep an eye on that. If I hear news, I'll drop him on my story. And if you guys don't follow me yet, just follow me and you'll be getting those news on there. Okay. Yeah, stocks for recommendations. Jair, if you're doing long term, SPY and QQQ, there's just no way you can miss with those two. SPY, QQQ for the long term. If you weren't here at the beginning of my live, I talked about how you can make $1 million in a few years if you stick with that. So I had this calculator out. Okay, and with this, I'm gonna read a couple more comments and then I'm going to close, guys, because I'm past today on the live. So and that was Jair. So Jair, so let's say you start with $10,000, right? Because you were able to save for the past couple years, and you invest those $10,000 for 20 years. Usually the S&P 500 pays about 10% return average, so they pay you 10% on the money that you put every year. And then you make contributions of, let's say, $2,000 every month. Okay, so in 20 years you would have $1.5 million, okay, in that account. Because I mean, it could be more, it could be less, but on average you'll have $1.5 million. If you start with 10,000, you invest for 20 years at 10% annual rates. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. That's why it's an average of 10%. Last year, the S&P paid 25%, and the year before that, 27%. So you might have some good years, you might have some bad years, but on average, 10% I think is pretty conservative. And then you add $2,000 every month. That is the amount that you'll have at the end of year 20th. Not bad, huh? So if you're thinking about investing in the long term, Jair, those are the only stocks that I could say that I recommend for people to buy. Again, not financial advice, right? But most people recommend those two: S&P 500, QQQ, because of the history of those stocks always moving up. What stocks would you recommend for a first-time trader? Savage. Again, not a recommendation. You know the legality, and I will feel horrible if I pick one stock like Tesla, and then tomorrow Trump says, you know what, Tesla, I'm removing some contracts, and Tesla goes down. Okay, because you can't control that. Those are things that you don't know, that will happen. What's gonna happen the next day? Okay, so that's why nobody can give recommendations. I don't give recommendations, but I talk for myself. What would I invest as a trader? And for me, this is where I would put my money. Microsoft. Right now it's at all-time highs, so I would not buy it, right? But if it drops somewhere around 420, 400, I would buy it again. I got out of it at 450, so I already had profits, so I sold it. Nvidia, I would sell it. I will buy it long for trades. Apple, I would buy it for trades. Amazon, I would buy it for trades. Google for trades. Meta, maybe not so much, but it's a good stock. And Tesla, it's a good stock, but it's very volatile. So any of these first five, I would buy for trades. Not right now, because they're getting close to all-time highs, except for Google. Google is the only one that's under the 200 SMA on the daily candles. So it's the one with a bigger room to move up. Okay. And in remind me about this in a month. So if you guys are here for lives in a month, we'll take a look at this, and I can tell you that this stock will go higher. Okay, because it's been wanting to go higher. It's just not been able to, but it will go higher. Okay, unless it gets bad news. But if it doesn't get bad news on lawsuits or bad news on any other thing, this stock just naturally will move up. Okay, because it's a good company. Okay, but the bad news, unfortunately, we can't control. Okay, so that's what I think about good stocks for trades. So I hope that helps. Savage, thank you for the gift. Appreciate it. Okay. All right. With that said, thank you guys for being today here in the live. I'm just gonna leave you with one more thing, which is what I mentioned earlier. Look at this picture. I love that picture. You probably guys don't see it. There you go. Okay. that describes exactly what happened today. So economic data. Tomorrow we have the U.S. employment report. We expect to get 125 jobs added to the United States. If it drops way below that, that could move the market to the downside. Okay. Again, this has two different points. If it drops below, it's bad for the economy, but it's good for the Federal Reserve, because the Federal Reserve will look at it and say, they're adding less jobs. That means less people buying. That means inflation going down. That means we cut rates. Okay. We cut rates for homes. We cut rates for loans on cars. We cut rates for credit cards. So that's good for the Federal Reserve to cut rates, but bad for the economy. If the employment is way higher, that means that, okay, economy is doing good. We're offering more jobs, but that also means that people will get more money. People will buy more things, which is going to push inflation up, which is bad for the Federal Reserve, because the Federal Reserve is not going to cut rates if inflation goes up. So we'll see what happens tomorrow with that report. So keep an eye on that. I'll keep you posted. I'll post it on my story as soon as I find out. Tomorrow at 5:30 in the morning, that's when that report comes out. I'll report it maybe around 6 when the market opens. Okay. So that said, have a great night, guys, and I will see you tomorrow.